Hi, it's Ingrid. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's time for my April reading wrap-up. If you're new to Book Talk, this is basically a video where I show you every book I read this month and give you my rating and opinion of them. So let's get started. I read 7 books. 6 of them were physical copies, 1 of them were online, well, on my phone. It was free on Apple Books, so that was nice. I'm just gonna get started with the first one I read. That was The DoOver by Lynn Painter. I started reading this at the beginning of the month, and I also did a video on it. That video is not up yet, because I did a video where I annotated a book for the first time, as you can probably tell. But I wanted to annotate books in different genres, so that's coming later when I do the other books as well. But yeah, I did a few tabs and some underlining. You'll see more of that in my annotating video. This book is a YA romance, I think. It's about, I don't remember her names. I don't know how to say that in English. It just doesn't make sense to me because that's a very Norwegian name. But anyways, this girl wakes up on Valentine's Day and it doesn't go as she hoped it would. Everything is kind of falling apart in her life. And then the next morning she wakes up and she's reliving Valentine's Day over and over and over again. She's trying to break the cycle, doesn't really go as she planned, and then she meets this boy. She meets Nick, and then the two of them kind of interact every Valentine's Day, but he never remembers it because he doesn't know that she has lived it a million times. Then you see their relationship develop, and you just get their story. It's really cute. I really love the relationship in this. I gave it 5 stars. Did I say that? I don't know, but I gave it 5 stars. This has been a really good reading month for me. Every book I've read this month has been for a video. Filmed 3 videos. Very proud of myself. They're coming soon. I finished editing them, so they're all ready to upload. So on Wednesday, we might see some classics. I did a video where I read classics for a week. I read 3. The first one I read was The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This book is about a man, well, a young man, Oscar Wilde, who he's very beautiful. That's the thing. Everyone thinks he's beautiful. He's just youth and glowing. He's very handsome, and everyone thinks so. And then he meets Harry, and he gets, I don't know how to explain it though. He gets influenced by Harry to really appreciate his youth. So he ends up begging for eternal youth because his friend paints him a picture which is beautiful, and then he wants to look like that forever, so he kind of trades his place with the picture, so he's always young and beautiful. I really enjoyed this book. That was probably a terrible explanation. I feel like you can learn a lot from this book too, about like physical beauty and an inner beauty. I don't know. I would recommend reading it. One thing I have to say. The introduction to this book. It's 30 pages of an introduction and notes, and it was incredibly boring. And I do not recommend reading it. Because when I first picked up this book, I was so excited to read it. But then, after reading that, I was so bored, and I just never wanted to pick up a book again. So, if you're going to read it, I recommend not reading the introduction. Maybe you like it, I really didn't. So the next book I read, I decided to not read the introduction, and that helped a lot. Now, I'm very excited to watch this movie as well, starring Ben Barnes. Doesn't get much better than that, and I also really liked the story. I gave it 5 stars. Read it. Also, getting into the classics was very intimidating. I feel like I'm not smart enough to read classics, even though I am not stupid. I don't know. The next book I read was The Pearl by John Steinbeck. I read that on my phone. It was free, and I just wanted something simple to read during breaks at school. That story is about a couple who has a baby, and the baby gets bitten by a scorpion. They're very poor, so the doctor won't help them. So they find this pearl, and obviously everyone's very... Oh. What is happening? I don't know if you can hear that. If you can, I'm sorry. It's very annoying. They found this pearl and everyone's obsessed with it, and they end up trying to run away because someone is trying to steal it, and they're being very violent. So you see there's like experience trying to get away from everyone, trying to keep their family safe while also trying to save their baby. I feel like this story brings like some awareness of greed. I don't know, that's how I felt. Like, don't let greed take over your life. Money isn't everything, you know. I gave that 3 stars. I definitely did not like it as much as Dorian Gray, but it was very interesting. I wish, you know what, I'm not going to get too much into it. I'm posting a video on Wednesday, so you can watch that to see me read it and my opinion of it. Next book I read was Pride and Prejudice. This was very scary because I felt like whenever someone talks about classics, this is the book I think about. I don't know, I feel like this is very intimidating because it's old, obviously, and I feel like this isn't a typical story that I would enjoy. But I did really like it. There were times where I was a little bored and didn't really want to continue. I had to force myself to continue. But most of the book was very interesting. This book has very short chapters, just a few pages, which I love. I hate long chapters. So this was very easy to read. It was written in a way that just made the pages go by very quickly. This is the story about 2 sisters and their family. There's Jane and Elizabeth. I would say Elizabeth is the main character. Then you also have her sister Jane, they're like best friends. So you get most of their story together. They're obviously trying to get married. So Jane meets Mr. Bingley. They fall in love. Things happen. Mr. Bingley has a friend, Mr. Darcy, who I love very much. And then you kind of get like the whole family interacting with all of the characters. The main focus is on Elizabeth and her feelings and her thoughts towards Jane, Mr. Bingley, and Mr. Darcy. I gave this one 4 stars because I got a little bored at times, but I did really enjoy it, and I feel like I think I would read more of Jane Austen's work, which I wasn't expecting. So this far, I've had 2 5-star reads, 1 3-star, and 1 4-star. Then, I filmed another video. I did a 24-hour reading challenge. That's coming soon as well. In that video, I read 3 books. The first one I read was Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood, my favorite romance author. I read The Love Hypothesis a while ago, loved it. That was my favorite book for a long time. Then I read this, and I love this even more. This is about Marie? No. Oh, that was wrong. I was very confused because I'm like, her name's not Marie. Her name is Bee, and she's a scientist who gets offered a job for NASA to like co-lead the project with Levi Ward, who she was in grad school with, I think. And there's kind of like a little rivals to lover story. Grumpy Sunshine, she thinks he hates her. Yeah, you get the point. I really enjoyed this story. It was so fun. And the amount of times she mentioned Norway in this story. As a Norwegian person who loves her, that was great. I gave this book 5 stars. Would highly recommend, and I'm so excited to read her new books when they come out. And then, shockingly, the next book I read was Under One Roof, the first novella in Loath to Love You, also by Ali Hazelwood. And I have to say, I gave this one 5 stars as well. This one is obviously shorter because it's a novella. But this is about names. I cannot remember names. Mara, is that her? And where's the names? Yeah, I'm pretty sure her name's Mara, and then she meets Liam. I don't know if that was the right name. I'm really bad with names in books. Anyways, it's a love story. She moves into his house because she inherits it from her someone she works with. She kind of looks up to her. They're like family to each other. She inherits her half of the house, and then her nephew, I think, owns the other half of the house. At first he tries to buy the house from her. She won't let him do that. So it's a little forced proximity. One house, two people who doesn't know each other. This is also a little Grumpy Sunshine. It's very spicy, if you're into that. And you get right into it. I really enjoyed it. It was fun. I recommend. There's 2 more novellas in this, and I'm very excited to read them. It's coming. I'm doing it. The last book in April is also the last book in a series. Before Your Memory Fades by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I don't know if I said that right, but I love this book. This series. This is the 3rd one in the series. I was a little confused in the beginning because it was set in a different place than the first 2. But if you haven't heard of this series, it's about a cafe where you can travel in time. You have 1 seat, sit there, drink the coffee, go back in time to meet anyone you want who's been to that cafe. You have to know when and where to be. I just don't know how to explain anything. There's a lot of rules, things happen, you see the stories, figure out why people want to go back in time, what they do, how it affects them, and then you see the relationships between everyone. It's a fun book. I gave this one 4 stars. I got interrupted. I had to help out with dinner and then I had to eat, so it's a lot later now. The natural light is no longer coming into my room because it's late. So I'm sorry, it doesn't look as good. I don't remember what the last thing I said was, but I'm pretty sure I was talking about this. Yeah, I gave it 4 stars. I don't know if I said that already, but I'm not gonna explain this book because I don't know how far I got. But I did really enjoy this series, so I do recommend. Okay, I also want to share my May TBR. I don't know how much I will be able to read this month because of exams. I've had 1, but I have 2 more, so I was needing to study for that. But I hope I do have some time to read. Because also, I don't have any school other than that, so there's just studying. Don't have to be in school, I'm home all the time. So, the first 2 books that I know for a fact I'm going to read is Mindset by Dr. Carol S. Dweck. I don't know if I said that right, but I want to do a video with this. I have an idea. I started reading this a while ago. I got to page 6 and then I kind of forgot about it. But this is a self-help book. Don't read that out often. This is the first one I've ever read, and that clearly didn't get that far. But I kind of want to do this for this video I'm currently filming. The next book I really want to read is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Obviously already read it, but I want to do a reread. I've been in a Harry Potter mood recently, the past month, and I haven't been able to read it, but now I really feel like Harry Potter would be fun. And I also wanna, like I mentioned earlier, I'm filming a video where I annotate for the first time. I did one romance book, and I think I want to do this one as well, to just do different genres. Something else I want to read this month is Things We Never Got Over and Things We Hide from the Light. I have mentioned in a few videos that I'm planning on filming a reading vlog of these. That's still the plan. I feel like now that it's summer, it's not really summer yet, but it's basically summer. School's over other than exams. The weather is mostly nice. I just feel like this is... the covers are giving spring, summer, sunny days. So I think it's gonna be fun to read these 2. I've also heard a lot of good things about them. Most people love them, so I think it's gonna be fun. And so, if I have time to read more, I really want to get to ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Obviously, most people know about this book, most people have read it, I have never. So I think it's time I get into it. This is a fantasy book, don't know too much about it, and I don't want to know too much about it. I'm very excited to start it. Another book that I've had for a very long time is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Heard a lot of good things about that one as well. Know absolutely nothing about it. But I feel like that's fun. That's fun. I've had that on my bookshelf for... I don't even know. I feel like this is one of the first books I bought. So I think it's time to read it. And also I just noticed Lee Bardugo has a comment on the cover of it, and I love Lee Bardugo, so I feel like this is gonna be fun. The last book on my TBR for May is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. The first book I read in April was by Lynn Painter, so I would like to read more of her books. So this is a very popular one, and it seems interesting. I like her covers, they're so simple. I really like that. That's every book that I have planned to read. Might choose something else. Maybe I don't even get to any of them. Who knows, it's a busy month. But we're gonna see. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you're excited for what's coming. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, lovers.